How's it going, everybody? David Hedge here, House Hedge Gaming, and today starts off the spooky season. We are in Halloween, October, and all throughout the month we're going to be showing you videos that include some spooky elements, including board game tutorials of games that you might not have in your collection, but by the time I'm done, you may want to add them to add a little bit of spookiness to your next game night in October. So let's go take a look at the first one from Ravensburger Games. It has a sequel coming out called Horrified American Monsters, but before that, there were the original monsters, the OG monsters, the ones that even my parents were afraid of when they were kids. I'm talking about Dracula, I'm talking about Frankenstein and the Bride, the Wolf Man, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, and the Invisible Man. So let's take a look at Horrified from Ravensburger Games and see if we can survive the night. We feel it would be a little unkind to present this game without just a word of friendly warning. You are about to unfold one of the strangest tales ever told. We think it will thrill you, it may shock you, it might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now's your chance to, well, we warned you. Welcome to Horrified, Universal Monsters Edition from Ravensburger Games, and here is the board that you'll be playing on, this lovely township, but also the creatures that dwell in the night. Setup for the game is very easy. You get to choose which monsters you want to start as your opponents in this game. For an easy game, first-time players, you'll want to go with Dracula and the Creature from the Black Lagoon. An easy setup is also 2 monsters. Then you have a medium setting, which is 3 monsters, and if you want to go really expert monster hunter, you go with 4 monsters. Now there's different ones in the game, so you have Dracula and the Creature from the Black Lagoon, you have the Invisible Man, the Wolf Man, the Mummy, and finally Frankenstein and the Bride. Now each one of these monsters has a specific goal that you have to accomplish to defeat them throughout the game. So for the Invisible Man, you have to prove that he actually exists by finding evidence throughout the town to accomplish that goal, and then finally trapping the Invisible Man by using items that you pick up throughout the game. With the Wolf Man, you have to find the antidote. The Mummy, you have to break the curse and seal him back into his tomb. Frankenstein and the Bride, they just want to find love. You get them together, they find love, they go off and do whatever Frankenstein and the Bride wants to do. But in this game, you're going to have 2 different objectives with Dracula and the Creature from the Black Lagoon. You have Dracula, where you must bash all 4 of his coffins all over the board, and then once you do that, you can stake him and overcome him to defeat him. For the Creature of Black Lagoon, you have to find his lair by putting evidence at the camp, and then once you do that, you're able to chase him off and drive him away from the town. Now, the setup of the game, once you have your creatures picked out, your legendary monsters, you have a bag here of items that you will draw throughout the game, 60 items total in the bag, and you will have 12 of them placed throughout the board at the beginning, and each item will have a value, which some things, for example, with Dracula, you have to have 6+ red to be able to break a coffin. You'll have this, plus you will have, let me actually get that a little closer for you, the type of weapon and where it's going to be put at on the board. So for example, with this pistol, it goes into the precinct. You have your monsters set up here on the board already, which, by the way, when you're setting up, on the back of each monster card, it gives you the details of how to set up for each scenario. Finally, you have your characters that you're picking out in the game. So for example, I have Oppressor here, and I have the Mayor. Now each one is going to have a card that you will get. So they have action points you can spend throughout the turn, a special action, and their starting location. So for example, the Professor will be starting out at the hospital, which is down here. Once you have all the players on the board, then it's time to start hunting universal monsters and rid the town of this dreaded evil. Now, the first thing that happens on a turn is the hero phase. Now, there's a certain number of actions any number of these you can perform with your action points throughout the game. So let's say for the Mayor, which is this lovely lady right here. She started theater. You have 5 action points you can use with her. So for action points, you can move from one place to another. You can pick up any items that you come across in a space. You can share items with a hero that is in your space, and which comes very handy if somebody's about ready to get to break a coffin or to take evidence to the camp. They need a little bit extra, you can help them out there. You can advance a task by using an item in a specific location. So for example, utilizing the camp to find out where the creature of the Black Lagoon is. You can defeat a monster by using items, and to defeat them you can use the special instructions on the bottom of the cards here once you complete the advanced one. And finally, you can use special actions on your hero board. So for example, like with the professor, you can move any hero or villager one space. Now speaking of villagers, that's the one thing I did not mention. Villagers will be spawning up throughout the game. Now each villager will be named and the location that they want to get to after they're put on the board. So for example, with Lucy, she will start out at the theater, and to take a character, a villager, from one place to another, you just go in the same space with them, and they will move with you every time you move that you wish to move them with you. And once you get them to the mansion or wherever the villager is trying to go, you will get to draw from this deck here, and this is stuff that will help you against the universal monsters. Now, after a hero is done with their turn, it's now for the monsters to take theirs. So you have the monster phase. Now, this deck right here is a very dangerous deck. This gives you everything from villagers popping up, events taking place, but this also gives you the items that you will need to defeat the monsters. So at the end of each turn, when it goes to monster phase, you'll flip over the top card, and you'll go from top to bottom. So for example, this one, you would draw 3 items from the item bag and place them on the board. Lucy, which is the one villager you just had, you get to place her on the board in the theater. And then finally, you see which monsters that will activate this turn, and you will see how many spaces they move and how many dice they use to attack. So, with Dracula, this card here has Dracula, but also this marker is the Frenzied Monster marker. This is the monster that is most active. This is the monster that has a lot of vigor and vile and villainy in their hearts to get their objectives met. So, if the same monster is the Frenzied Monster, so for example, this one's Dracula, and the Frenzy marker is on Dracula, which always goes on the lowest scoring monster at the beginning of the game, that means Dracula will get to move twice. So with Dracula in the crypt, he can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now he will always make his way to either a villager or a hero, whichever one is closest. If he does encounter a hero, then some bad stuff's going to happen. You will roll this die here. If it ends up on this icon, that means he has dealt damage to you, and you have to discard items from your supply. If you can't, you are knocked out, and some bad stuff starts happening. If it lands on the exclamation point here, then a special ability will trigger on the monster, and each one is different. Now, if a villager gets hit, then the villager gets taken out, and this right here is a bad thing. This is basically the terror track, the horrified track, to where every time somebody gets defeated or a villager gets taken out, this gets moved up one at a time. Once it lands on this spot here, this is the universal sign of, hey, we lost the game. Another way to lose the game is by running out of cards in this deck. But the main thing you're asking yourself, how do I defeat the monsters? Well, once you're able to get the items that you need, for Dracula, you break all 4 coffins and you overcome him at the end. He has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. If you go against the creature from the Black Lagoon, you have to take the items here, find out his secret lair, and then drive him out. Now, each one's a little bit different. So, for example, with the Dracula, you have to smash coffins using the red items that equal 6 or more. So, for example, if I had a torch and a pistol, and my character is at this coffin, I can discard both these to smash this coffin, and that gives Dracula one less place to run when it's time for him to fly away. For The Creature of the Black Lagoon, that one mainly focuses on colors, to where you'll use the camp to discard the different colors and go to the matching color on the X's until you find his lair. Once you get to his lair, then you're able to defeat him. And play will proceed like that until either you defeat the monsters or the monsters defeat you and run over the town. It is a quick and simple game to play, easy to pick up, and I'm sure it will be a great addition to your next game night, especially during the Halloween season. So that is a quick overview of how to play Horrified by Ravensburger Games. Well, there you have it. That is Horrified from Ravensburger Games. A great addition to any gaming library, especially if you want to get into the holiday season of All Hallows Eve. So thank you guys so much for checking out this video. If you like it, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff you need to do to get out there. The House Hedge Gaming is here for all of your gaming and some wrestling needs as well. So thank you guys so much for checking out this video, and until next time, stay safe and take care.